It's Friday, Friday. Gotta
Joey,
get down
what's
on Friday.
the big deal about Friday?
USC plays on Friday.
All right, USC does play on Friday, taking on Washington State. We'll talk about it. We'll also talk about more around USC sports. Sports Scene starts now. Welcome back into the luxurious Annenberg Media Center. I'm Aaron Glazer.
And I'm Jody Storm Sullivan. Aaron, let's jump right into it. What does Washington State bring that USC has yet to see this season?
Well, Joey, they have yet to see a quarterback that is experienced, and that they will see in the quarterback Luke Falk of the Washington State Cougars. 76.9 completion percentage so far this year. USC's opponents are just not used to that. It's going to be a very tough game with him.
Falk puts up an average of 344.5 yards per game and already has 14 touchdowns this season. Like you said, looking over at USC and the opponents they faced have seen absolutely nothing like this before. And you know, what does Luke have around him that's going to help him get those yards, get those touchdowns, and keep their high-scoring offense rolling?
Yeah, Joey, what Washington State has is a Mike Leach-led air raid offense. They'll put whoever out in the line, send him deep, and if Falk can find him, well, then good for them. And that starts with their running backs, two guys who actually have pretty good receiving numbers as well, that being Jamal Morrow and James Williams. Williams having over 200 yards receiving. That is really unforeseen for a running back, especially through only 4 games. So these guys, USC, there was a little bit of their own with Stephen Carr. Think that Texas jump pass. Besides that, USC not used to running backs who can go out deep. That's something they absolutely will see on Friday night.
And it's something that helps Falk, and Helton addressed it this practice, talking about how it's very comfortable for Falk to break out of the pocket and look deep to all of his open receivers.
Luke does a good job of feeling the pocket. You know, if he's a quick decision maker, and if it's there, he pulls the trigger. But he also is kind of like Sam in the ability to create and keep his eyes downfield.
So like I said, or really saying earlier in our show, USC's playing on a Friday night. That's just their 6th Friday night game since 1990. Right now, they're 5-0 in Friday night games. And that one loss, Aaron, let's talk about it.
Well, that one loss was just last year, Sam Darnold's first start, a game at Utah. It was week 4, so a week earlier in the season than they are now. But besides that, Friday nights tend to be pretty smooth for Trojans. We'll see if this week is a little bit similar.
Yeah, like you said, that Darnold will see a little bit of Friday night light redemption going on and see if USC can take that 5-1 record in Friday night games and move it up to 6-1. Let's toss it out to Aaron in the desk.
Thank you, Jody. Well, USC is 4-0, but Trojan Nation is a little bit concerned as to how their play has been so far. So now we're going to bring in Hannah Wing and Chloe Chrissy-Koplos for a little game we call Agree, Disagree here on Sports Scene. Hannah and Chloe, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
So let's get right to it. USC, the number 5 in the country, but off to a 4-0 start. Some are a little concerned. Are they playing up to projections? All right, we got a disagree, we got an agree. Hannah, why are you disagreeing?
I wish I could agree with this. Obviously, USC is 4-0, but they really aren't beating their opponents by that many. I think especially against teams like Cal, UT, those games are a little too close for comfort. The UT prediction I saw was USC 40, UT 27. We almost won. We did win, actually, but we almost lost in double overtime, so that was a little stressful. I would love to see them win by 2 touchdowns each game.
So maybe the margin's key for you, Hannah. What about you, Chloe?
I see what Hannah's saying, but USC has pulled out the win. We're 4-0. We're winning games, and I understand it's not the cleanest game, but they're still holding strong and we're undefeated. So I agree.
All right, well, let's get kind of more in-depth with USC on the offensive side of the ball. Sam Darnold, the quarterback, got a lot of options around him. Sometimes they've been a little bit struggling. Does that start with Darnold or is it someone else? What do you guys think?
I'm going to say it's not Sam's fault.
Okay.
I think it's the receivers. In my opinion, obviously, USC has the loss of Juju Smith-Schuster as well as Darius Rogers, 2 huge guys out there on the field. Deontay Burnett is such a key and important player to this team. He might not be able to play on Friday with a shoulder injury. He wasn't practicing this week. Overall, I think it's the receivers' fault, especially in games like Cal and UT. Like I said earlier, not our best, but I think that USC can definitely pull it together as long as the receivers are not dropping the balls.
Chloe, you also disagree?
I think it's the offensive line coach, T. Martin's fault. I mean, he's not creative enough in his play calling. He's being predictable, and I understand. We don't want to lose. We want to pull out the win, but we need to let Darnold use his play calling and his creativity, and he has really great sight of the field. So we need to let him do that and get it to those running backs.
All right, well, we can only see how USC's offense responds. Switching over to the defensive side of the ball, Luke Falk, big-name quarterback this week for Washington State. Do you guys think USC's defense is ready for him?
Bring it on.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing it on. Chloe, how is USC's defense ready for him?
Well, you showed the stats earlier. Obviously, he's had great games so far, but he's played Oregon State, Nevada, Boise State, and Montana State. I mean, those are not very difficult teams, and now he has to match up against a top 5 team. And our defense is so solid. I mean, we're great at rushing the quarterback and forcing turnovers. I think we're ready.
All right, Hannah, you also agree?
I think that if our defense has the same momentum they had in the Cal game, we will dominate every single offense that we play. I think that USC's offense has really done a great job, but I think the defense has maybe been a little stronger in some situations. I definitely think that we're ready. Luke Falk definitely does have experience, but I think we're ready to take him on and that USC will come back with 5-0 after the weekend.
All right, well, regardless of whether you guys agree or disagree on some of these topics, I think all three of us can agree that USC is a tough matchup against Washington State ahead of them. Now let's turn it over to the monitor where Joey has some more about women's soccer.
Thanks, Aaron. The number 7 women's soccer team started their Pac-12 play last weekend with a double overtime tie against Utah. They're gearing up for a game against Oregon State tomorrow. The women of Troy are well equipped up front. They have freshman Savannah DeMello and redshirt senior Alex Anthony as their forwards. Together, they've combined for 7 goals on the season. You have DeMello, she's bringing the freshness as well, a freshman. And you have Anthony, who that redshirt senior, she brings experience, maturity, and the lessons that she's learned through that national championship run last season. DeMello and Anthony are also accompanied in the back, their goalie, redshirt freshman Kaylee Collins. She has 15 saves so far this season, 4 of which came against that Utah tie that opened up their Pac-12 play. In that same game, she also tied her career high for saves on a game. The women of Troy are stacked with talent as they head deeper into that Pac-12 play. And for more on teams in the thick of Pac-12 play, here's Sarah McGrew.
Fall isn't just for football. From the pool to the court, the Trojans are on fire this season. It's time to light the torch. Diving straight into the pool, men's water polo dominated over the weekend in the Mountain Pacific Invitational. Swimming away with wins against San Jose State, UC Irvine, and Stanford. Senior goalie McQuinn Barron had 22 saves during those 3 wins, but their undefeated record came to an end on Sunday with a loss to crosstown rival UCLA. The second-ranked Trojans are now 13-1 and will travel to Riverside on Friday to play in the Lancer Invitational. Now to the court, where women's volleyball is on a 3-win streak. The number 21 women of Troy began Pac-12 play last week with a 3-2 upset against 11th-ranked UCLA. Senior Brittany Abercrombie led the team with 18 kills on the night.
Every girl on the court is there for each other. We have each other's backs, and we just want to win so badly, and we proved that we could do it.
Continued their momentum with a 3-1 win against Oregon State on Sunday. Sophomore Khalil Lanier led the team with 20 kills. The women of Troy have now climbed up to number 20 in the nation and will take on Washington State and number 6 Washington this weekend at the Galen Center. From spikes to saves, it's sure to be another exciting week for the Trojan Athletics. Jody and Aaron, back to you guys.
Thanks, Sarah. You know, to close out our show this week, we're kicking it with freshman walk-on kicker Chase McGrath. You know, he talked to us a little earlier this week about dealing with that celebrity, newfound, big man on campus.
It's been pretty crazy, walking around, just, still nobody really knows me yet, but the few people that do, they say congrats and, good stuff. So people walk by me talking about it, and they have no clue that I'm just right there. And, I don't say anything, and then they're like, oh, wait, you're Chase? I'm like, yeah, I am. It's kind of weird. Some people want to get pictures and stuff. It's an interesting experience.
You know, now that McGrath's 5-5 after missing that first collegiate attempt, Aaron, what do you think? Is he going to be spotted on campus more?
I think maybe so. But I think the bigger question is let's not be mindful of the fact that he's a walk-on. Is he going to get paid? You know, Helton's hinted at, but nothing is officially yet. So we'll see if anything goes there.
Yeah, he's paying to play here at USC right now, paying tuition like the rest of us. But
he's doing a pretty good job.
You know, like you said, Helton did bring it up. He talked about it in the presser following the Cal game, how they're looking for it. He's going to do what he can to make sure McGrath can get the scholarship that right now he's earning for the team with his foot.
Absolutely, Joey. And fortunately, that is all we have for you this week. So be sure to keep us up on our social media at Annenberg Media Sports on Twitter and Facebook. We'll see you next week.